the Growing Towards God podcast. Here on Growing Towards God, we talk about ways to grow spiritually and hear how God has been working in people's lives. My name is Virginia, and I'm so excited that you're here today. Thank you for listening, so now let's get to the good stuff. Hello, everyone. So excited to be back with part 3 of Corrin and Emily's Seeing God Abroad series. And if you haven't listened to part 1 and 2, definitely go and listen to that because they're so fun. So, yeah.
Stuff. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I guess to jump back in, what was most surprising to you about being abroad in Ireland?
I would say this is a hard question because there's a lot. In Ireland specifically, the biggest culture shock would be there wasn't a lot of differences, low key, to be honest, in Ireland. But driving on the other side of the road and walking everywhere, that was a big change. Even the public transportation, because we don't really have a lot of public transportation over here where we're from. So that was the biggest change. But I think the most surprising thing overall about being abroad in multiple countries, I think just really realizing how much is out there and how much you different places to go and visit, different foods to eat and try, different people to meet. There's just so much out there. And yeah, I just want to see it all now, but I think I didn't realize how big the world was, which makes me sound naive, but I was you don't know until you go. So yeah.
I'm sitting here trying to think. I literally remember coming home and being yeah, it was so surprising, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, well, this is one of them at least. I was really surprised by the school systems there, or at least at our university, because I feel in America, we have this idea that European schools are so much harder, or even other schools outside of America are a lot harder and more intense, and you learn a lot more and they're all really smart. But at this school, we never had homework, and no one really went to class, and the lectures were not very difficult, and we just had one exam at the end of the year, and that wasn't easy, but I don't think it was any harder than anything I've done at home, especially with AP exams and the ACT. It felt just like that. So I was really surprised by that. I think I didn't really think a lot about school before we went there, but I was surprised how easy it was.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, and you took pretty decent classes. They weren't just fun random ones.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think it definitely depends on the school, but our school was really chill with that. So that was really definitely a blessing, because I know just that school and at home, it's just it's tough, most of the time, and you're just always having assignments and stuff. And so I definitely noticed that too. There was no busy work. It was just showing up to class and the exam or project that you had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which was really nice. I definitely didn't learn anything, but I learned a lot more life skills and experiences. So it balances out. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to learn about life and yourself some way. So that's what study abroad is for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I guess through all that, is there a particular moment when you really felt the closest to God?
I would say after kind of reflecting on this question, I'd say the last growth group that we went to, that particular home group. Oh yeah, it was home group. Yeah, last home group we went to at Tom and Vicky's house. That was such just a special time, and they were just very encouraging, with us to go back out into our mission field in America, and they were just so encouraging in the faith. So I think that was just a really cool time to be surrounded by the community that we had. I think throughout the whole thing, definitely felt close to God, but I think that last night really comes to mind just because of of the people and just like just the impact they had on me. So
Yeah, I remember that. That was like an emotional night.
yeah.
That was sad. Yeah. And
Oh
then
my gosh, I remember that. What did you say?
and then that Sunday too, after or it was like
Oh,
our last Sunday. That was like the worst.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Because I remember at home group, Virginia, you and me were sitting next to each other on the couch, and I was like, I was holding it together, I was choking back tears, and then I looked at you and you had like tears in your eyes, and then we both just like lost it and started
Yeah.
crying. And I just remember, yeah, it was so sad, but so happy at the same time because we had such a good community and so many good people we were surrounded with that I was just so thankful to have known them even for a short amount of time. But at the same time, like we had to say goodbye to the people we had grown so much with.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I didn't really realize like how much I had grown until like I came back, you know. That was so interesting because Vicky had like given us all these like reflection questions and I was like doing them on the airplane back home and stuff, but I was like, yeah, like I don't really feel like much is going to be different. And then I came back and like picked up my life again and I was like, whoa, like not ready for that, you know? Like it was crazy.
Yeah. I can't think of like a particular moment, I guess. Um, I'm a very reflective person. So like a lot of times I would reflect on like how I was changing in the moment and like why were things getting better? Why was it hard again or things like that. And like just throughout the whole semester, I could feel myself getting closer and closer to God and growing in my faith and growing in my trust in God. Um, but I think there is like one moment that was kind of like a light bulb moment. We went to Dublin with CU and it was like inter CU night. And they had like these speakers come in and like tell their story, kind of like their witness. And this one girl was talking about how like her faith wasn't for her. It was like just to get a good grade on her tests, I guess.
Yeah.
And like just to like read the Bible to read it or things like that. Like she wasn't choosing to do things to make her faith her own. And like that like really was an eye-opening moment for me because like I never realized that that's kind of like why I studied the Bible was just because like okay, like I just want to get a good grade or like I was looking for validation in other people instead of just looking for validation in God.
Yeah. Wow. That's really good. I don't know if there was one for me. I feel like I don't know, just when like things were kind of hard, I was like, I miss my people, you know? I feel like it was kind of in those moments that I was like, that God was like, well, I'm here, like comforting you, you know? And yeah, just like in the sadness, like going to God instead of like my phone and being like, oh, I miss them even more, you know? Stuff like that. I feel like really God was just like, you know, I've provided you with new people too, you know, to talk to and have like relationships with and really like build more community for you, you know? So that was also really cool. But yeah, would you guys say that like going abroad met your expectations?
Yeah, I would say yes, and like so much more. Like it was like beyond what I could have ever imagined too. Like
Yeah. Yeah, I like don't really remember my expectations beforehand. Like I think I just expected like yeah, it's gonna be cool, like it's gonna be good. But I didn't really realize how it was gonna be cool or like how like it would change my life or anything like that. So it really just showed me a lot more than I ever thought was possible. Like I never could have imagined like the joy that I felt or the experiences that we had or the friends that I met and all those things.
Yeah, I don't think I like had set ones either, but I think I kind of was just like it's gonna be a fun time, and it definitely was. It was like the best
Yeah.
month of my life, you know, which is like
Uh-huh.
crazy.
yeah.
I miss it. I'm like, oh, that was so fun. Like
Yeah.
a once in a lifetime experience.
Oh yeah.
Because it really is like people say that, like, oh, it's once in a lifetime opportunity, and oh my gosh, it changed my life. But like, no, like they mean
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And so like overall with like everything that you guys have like learned and what was hard and what was fun, like do you recommend to people that they go abroad?
Yeah, absolutely. I yeah, again, like what I learned like as my like life takeaway is like just book the flight, just do it. Um, definitely like you'll learn so much about yourself, you learn so much about the world and just like different perspectives, see through other people's eyes. Like it is so good and like you can definitely like even take it like to like grow your relationship with God too. Like definitely God is like so faithful and so good that he'll use it to like grow you and grow your faith. So I would say even if you're like you're worried about like money or I don't know, like the fears that you have, you're gonna be scared, but it's gonna be so worth it in the end. And it'll change your life. I'll say it.
Yeah, I would say that of course, like if that's something you're interested in, you should totally do it. But at the same time, like if it's not something you want to do, don't feel like you have to do it in order to like be cool or
Yeah.
like have a good
Yeah,
story to tell or things like that.
definitely.
But I would say like my advice would be don't think that you have to be a certain type of person to study abroad. Like you don't have to be extroverted, you don't have to know everything, you don't have to
Mhm.
like I don't know, be calm all the time. Like
Yeah.
anyone can do it. And like I'm introverted. I'm literally an accounting major. I get nervous about a lot of things. So like I did not think I was the type of person that can study abroad, but that really doesn't mean anything because it's just whatever you want to make it. If you want to make it happen, you're gonna make it happen.
Mhm.
Um yeah, so just find some good people to give you advice and support you through the process of deciding if you want to go, when you want to go, where you want to go,
Mhm.
and you'll know if you should go or not.
Yeah, definitely like talk to people that like know you well,
Mhm,
like
mhm.
they don't know the future, but also like if this is something that you want to do, then like check it out, explore the option.
Yeah.
That's such good advice.
Yeah. I would add the reason, like the thing that made me decide, like, okay, yeah, I'm doing it. Like I was kind of like, I don't know, should I do it? I saw like a post on Instagram or something, and it said like the experiences you have abroad will outweigh any fears you might have,
Yeah.
like any feelings of homesickness, anything like
Mhm.
that. And I was like, well, if they say so, the pros outweigh the cons. I guess I gotta go. But it really was so true. Like, obviously, you're gonna have times when you miss people, and there's gonna
Mhm.
be hard moments when you feel like you can't handle everything. But then there's gonna be moments when you feel like you can't handle all the joy that you're filled up with, and
Mhm.
it'll just be like unreal because you'll just be so grateful that you're living this life that does not feel real.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wow.
That was a really
Well
good one.
said. Well said.
Are
Yeah.
you crying?
No.
I
She's crying.
No. Just
No, I'm just
I'm
kidding.
just reflecting. It's so
I just
cool.
can't be serious about anything.
No.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's my last question. So I guess that wraps up our little series.
Um,
Emily and Corinne seeing God abroad.
thanks for
Yeah.
having us, Virginia. This is really fun. So
Thank
Yeah.
you
good.
guys. And you guys, I just want to tell all the listeners that Emily and Corinne like were the first people to like know about this idea and they were so supportive. And so yeah, just like a big thanks to Emily and Corinne for encouraging me and being my number one fans, like from the very start. You guys
Yeah.
I was like, guys, I think I'm gonna start a podcast. And you guys were like, what? I'll listen. Like all of this, you hyped me up so much. And I really mean
Yeah.
it so much to me. So thank you guys
Yeah.
for
When you
doing
sent the text that you're like, yeah, like I'm gonna do it, and I made my first episode during the summer or whatever, I was really like, oh my gosh, like I'm so
Yeah.
so Virginia's also
Oh,
amazing.
yeah.
And if you're listening to this, you're lucky to know her because she's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Enough of that. Thank you
Aw.
for listening to this episode, and thank you, Emily and Corinne, for being on. I love you guys so much, and I'm so glad that God brought us together in Ireland, and we have like been so close since, even though we're many miles apart.
Yeah.
Oh, love you, Virginia. God is so good.
Amen. Okay, on that note, that wraps up this episode. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I hope you took something meaningful away from this discussion and know that God loves you so much and desires a personal relationship with you. If you'd like to stay up to date with episodes, follow me on Instagram at Growing Towards God Pod and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. Before I go, I'd like you to take this benediction into your life and let the Lord's goodness empower you today. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Have a great rest of your day and catch you next time on the Growing Towards God podcast.